Okay guys, I'm back here. I'm doing a review on the driven front and rear sprockets and sprocket nuts. I did a review a couple minutes ago on the new EK 3D driven chain, so what I wanted to do is get into the sprocket side of it. Basically, I've always, well, I lied. I have done the Vortex kit once, but honestly, once I got into the driven products, they're amazing. They do a great job with quality. They hold up extremely well. Honestly, I love driven products. They look amazing. So I'm going to get into that. Basically, what I've got here, like I said, is the front and rear sprockets and then the sprocket nuts. So I will start off with the rear sprocket. All their products come amazingly packaged. They do a great job. It comes in this in molded plastic case. They do a great job of keeping it safe. Everything's basically ready for show if they send it over to their vendors. So what I've got is the driven rear here. This is a 520 sprocket, and I'll get into that here, but it's also the black anodized. So this is a 47 tooth count. Basically what I'm doing on mine is a -1 and keeping -1 in the front and keeping the stock gearing in the back. I do, doing a track day or two is fine, but I do a lot of street riding as well. So I can get this thing open. Like I said, they do an extremely good job of packaging. So I try to keep, close to stock gearing and all that good stuff. So anyways, this is the rear sprocket. And like I said, it's the 47 tooth count, and they always do a good job of marking everything. So you got your tooth count up here, which is the 47, your 520 conversion, obviously. They always put the chain pitch and everything like that on, and you've got the little driven logo, and that is all you're gonna see on the sprocket. They've got all these holes in it to lighten it up, and honestly, it's a great look. I love it, absolutely love it. They did a great job with their sprockets, an amazing finish. I mean, I've tried to find flaws in their anodizing, because you'll run into that. I've been in the field with anodizing before, and I know how it goes. And honestly, they do a great job. Backside of it's a little dirty. The packaging is, you can see down in there, the yellow is kind of rubbed off on it, but it rubs off with my fingers, so not a big deal. So that's the rear sprocket, and this is the aluminum rear sprocket. They also have them in a lightweight steel, but I went with the aluminum because I replace them every year anyway. So as far as wear life goes, fine with me. I'm fine with that. So if you're worried about the life of the sprocket or the strength of the sprocket, anything like that, honestly, go with their steel. They have a lightweight steel. They have that option as well. But to be honest with you, if you're going to want anything to fail on the bike, as far as drivetrain or as far as the chain and sprockets go, you're going to want the sprocket to fail. I've seen videos, I've never seen it in person, but I've seen videos of broken chains and what they can do and the kind of damage they can do as far as taking off, messing up the swing arm, the frame, engine casings, engines, taking, a limb off. It's pretty nuts. So if you want anything to fail, you're going to want one of these teeth to fail. And typically, if a sprocket's going to fail, unless it's extremely damaged, you don't take care of your chain, it's just going to be a tooth or two. But take care of your chain. I can't say enough about chain maintenance. You have to make sure your chain is tightened properly, your chain is clean, all that stuff. You have to make sure you take care of it. If you don't, your chain's not going to last. And honestly, the time that it takes me to clean my chains, maybe 10-15 minutes. What I do is I got a bucket, I've got a kerosene thing and a little bucket, and all I do is I went to Walmart, and all you got to do is dip one of those little house cleaning brushes in there and run it down your chain. Front side, back side, sides. it takes, you know, 15 minutes, dry it down, and then put some WD-40 on it. And a good looking chain, I mean, obviously that's makes a difference to me on a bike. Was when I'm looking at it, the chain's one of the first things that I notice. Maybe I'm weird, but that's one of the first things I notice. So take care of your chain. They'll last a lot longer, all that good stuff. So here's the sprocket, the rear sprocket. So, you know, obviously great product. So I'm gonna move that over to the side, and I'm gonna get in the front sprocket. Now the front sprockets are always steel. I have not found a driven front aluminum sprocket. I doubt they make it, to be honest with you. But this is another great product. I'm just gonna open it up here. Okay, so this is their front sprocket. It's steel. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, they do a hard anodize on their products. So all their aluminum products are going to be hard anodized, and that adds to the strength as well. Okay, now, front sprocket. So, like I said, it's a 16 tooth, 520 front sprocket. They did a great job of keeping it lightweight, you know, obviously trimming down the fat where they didn't need it, and then drilling the holes to kind of lighten it up as well all the way around the sprocket. Another great product, never had any issues with them. So this is their front sprocket, black. Okay. Next are the sprocket nuts. I sometimes stick with the factory nuts, and I just started using aftermarket ones last year. You have a bunch of different options. You know, you can go with the Pro Bolt, you know, titanium bolt or titanium nuts. I think these were about 30 or 40 bucks, if I remember right. All this stuff too I got from Moto Mummy. Can't say enough good things about those guys, but these are their sprocket nuts. Another, you know, great example of them doing a good job with packaging. They've got this, you know, plastic cover, clear cover, so you can see what you got with this aluminum casing to hold them in, and they've got this foam on the inside that actually has the cutouts for all the different nuts, all the nuts to go in there. So these are the 7075 T6 Sprocket Nuts. I'll actually just take one of them here and try to get you a good shot on what you're looking at. They have their torque spec on it, and I follow these with some Loctite. And the Yamaha manual is actually kind of weird for the R1 09 and newer. They actually call for like 60 foot-pounds for one of these things, and actually it's a misprint. You want right around 32 with the stock sprocket nuts with some blue Loctite, just to ensure that, you know, nothing's going anywhere. So going to 29 foot-pounds on these, I'm not worried about with some Loctite. They're going to stay there. Everything's going to be fine. I ran a full season that way, and I never had any issues. One thing to watch out for, though, with these are taller than my factory rear sprocket nuts. So when you're screwing these on, you may see the stud stick down or be inset on this nut a little farther than the factory, just because the nut is taller. But that does not mean that they're not holding on there. As long as you torque them down properly and you use blue Loctite, I promise you, you'll be okay. I've never had any issues. Mine stick down in there a little far. I would say maybe 1/8 of an inch into the nut. If you're about halfway, and you know, then I'd be looking at to make sure the stud isn't threaded into the wheel too far, because some of them are threaded on both sides. So that's something you got to watch out for too. But I've never had any issues with these. You know, I've taken pictures before, and people are like, "Oh, those nuts, you know, they're not holding on to it too well. You know, it's sitting down inside of the nut too far." Like I said, mine sit down about 1/8 of an inch, and I don't have any issues. So. That's my review on the driven products as far as sprockets go. I've also had their levers before, or I'm sorry, their grips. You know, great stuff there too. You know, I've got their small plates on my bike. Great finish and everything on that too. So if you're looking to do sprockets, anything, honestly, look these guys up. They do a great job. I love the look of their products. They do an amazing job. Like I said, driven, front and rear sprockets and sprocket nuts. I got my stuff through Modem on Me. The guys over there do a great job. They're always very responsive. They let me know that this was actually on back order when I ordered it, and they got it to me as quickly as they could, and they shipped everything together. I wasn't in a hurry for it, so that's fine. But I know that they have these things back in stock, and order from them. Give them a call, hop on their website, take a look. If you can find it someplace cheaper, go there. I love driven stuff, and I really recommend it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Shoot me a message. I'll respond to it as quickly as I can. But this is the driven aluminum rear sprocket, front sprocket, and sprocket nuts for $520. Like I said, 16 tooth here, 47 tooth there, and that's what I run on my 2012 Yamaha R1. Any questions? Let me know. Thanks, guys.